go to court Friday without representation, even though she paid this man over a year ago. So that's why I told the brother, Nanya-ShaabuEL, when he faxes Mr. Prober at the Prober Law Offices to let him know this is going to be on Facebook. There's times my mother has seen him on Yahoo Chat, and she sent him chat, he wouldn't respond. When she called him, he wasn't returning her messages. But every time my mother asked for the money back, he called. So at this point in the juncture, that's it for him. He's done. Now he's in trouble because he took money and he never provided a service. The fact that I filed the civil suit against the premier of not the premier, but the health minister, Ron Lightford, the Carvazan Incorporated, which owns the Royal Alexandra Hospital, my uncle Kenneth Lucian Henry, and Dr. Louis Francis Scuddy, who was the doctor who supposedly saw my dad, and the coroner, Dr. Ron Jacobs. This now has created a problem for them because now all these officials know about the cover-up and they're refusing to deal with it. So I said, once it's placed on Facebook or on the internet, it's a done deal. Right? Even the staff here, I tell them, look, a lot of my stuff's on YouTube already. So all they're doing is being told what to do as an automaton does. So the last time I was in court was in St. Albert, which was on the 9th of November, 2009. And that's a 999 because Novo is actually 9 in the Roman alphabet.
Correct.
So that was 999. I explained the same situation to the judge, and what was interesting was the judge said he's calling me sir. He said the reason he's calling me sir is because he doesn't know who I am. And this is after one of the sheriffs in there, because they like to rush people in there and out within 2 minutes. You don't get to say anything. So I managed to hold them off, and then after the attorneys were playing their dog and pony show, that's when the sheriff tried to move me out, and he said, "Come on, Mr. L. This is in court on the record." And I pointed that out, and then the judge told me that all my objections, that everything was being recorded, and all my objections are being recorded. So I informed the judge that Article 15 of the International Criminal Court has been invoked since April 13, 2009, via a process server served to Larry P. Carr, Queens Counsel. And those who've been watching the videos on YouTube have been seeing all the mail fraud that he's been getting along, he's been doing, and I've been calling him out on it. So now all of a sudden he's out of the picture, and he's put in a student at law to handle this as a scapegoat.
That's Mr. Tuttle, correct?
Pardon? Yes, that's Winston Tuttle. Right? And I just called him on Friday and left him a message because they tried to have a sidebar with my mother on Friday and wanted her to drop everything, and she said, no, I am the wife, and what business was my brother-in-law, which is Kenneth Lucian Henry, doing up in the hospital talking about husband's affairs, which is contrary to the Canada Health Act.
Correct.
Right? So all this stuff has been documented, all this stuff has been put out there, and it's all on the internet. So the whole fact of the matter here is they cannot respond. I've already had everybody in commercial default.
Correct.
And this is why they're having a problem, because now it goes from they're trying to say, well, we'll say the name is Henry Shawn, so this way they'll have chattel property. The only problem, though, is there's a copyright trademark on the name, there is a UCC filed on that name, there's a PPSA filed here in Alberta on the name. I have a letter from Revenue Canada stating that that corporation resides in Toronto. So, and the last but not least, and the most important, is the joint tenancy, which was established between my dad and his brother, Kenneth Lucian Henry, and I was the witness. Both of us had to go do this in front of a deputy clerk back in August 2nd of 2007, making that a legal document.
Correct.
So what it comes down to is my uncle, who's an informant, Luciferian, probably doing some satanic black magic, right? All that stuff shows that he lied.
Correct.
So therefore, the cousin is working overtime to cover him. I said it's not going to do anything because the videos I've done are in Sanskrit, they're in Hindu, they're in Chinese, Korean, they're in Australia, France, Italy, Japan. I'm like, the whole world is watching this. And this is why now that people know where I'm at, they can fax, and I've got two people that are going to be faxing here confirming what my identity is. So the concern is, again, when my mother came and visited me, she said, I want to know who's paying for this because they know I don't have an Alberta healthcare number. Right? So it's like, it's similar to like the social insurance number, but it's for healthcare because Canada, they got free healthcare.
Correct.
I don't have that. When they did the bogus psych assessment last year, which is posted on Facebook, the last question the psychiatrist asked me was, do you have an Alberta health number? I said, no. She said, that's correct. You're non-resident. So the thing was, why would she ask me that question when she already knew it? Because it comes down to one thing and one thing only: jurisdiction and the fact that I am international, and therefore international law takes precedent over what they're doing here. This is the problem that they're having. Because international law under the UN Charter supersedes the Canadian Charter.
Now, how'd you end up? Now, how'd you end up in the remand center?
Well, the remand center is where they send you after they take into custody, because that's the only thing that they have. Right? It's like county jail. Right? But the thing is, there's no warrant with my name on it. There's no charges with my name on it. And when I asked them, and incidentally, the sheriffs recorded the whole time when they came out to the property. They recorded everything. So when they recorded everything, I asked him, let me see the warrant. And he was like, well, come close to the door. I was like, no, I'm not coming close to the door. You slide it here or show it to me. When he opened it up and closed it, it said Henry Sean. So I need to find out who is the judge that signed off on a warrant, knowing full well that that's not my name. It's a corporation. And furthermore, I have signed nothing. So therefore, the sheriff executed a fraudulent warrant. So that makes the sheriff liable.
And what's the sheriff's name?
I can't remember his name, but he was a Scotsman. He had a Scottish accent. And so I have that. I recorded the last part, and they had somebody that was recording it. So they have a copy of that on record. Because they had a videotape. So I'm not even, that's sort of like mute. The thing is, where is the warrant? They don't have a warrant. I've asked for disclosure from Jeffrey Morrison. He hasn't given me disclosure. I asked him 67 specific questions regarding to the insurance of the court's authority, the geographic location, the QSIP number, the bid bond, and the Dun and Bradstreet number.
Correct.
And I asked for the QSIP number 2 times. On October 14th, before I left the court, that was the last thing I asked for, and I asked for it on the 9th of November 2009 in St. Albert. I asked the judge for the QSIP number and the bid bond, and I even asked for the, I think I asked for the Dun and Bradstreet, for the QSIP number and the bid bond I asked for.
Correct.
And further, I did call Jeffrey Morrison. I just wanted to leave a message, but his assistant came in, and he turned around, and she would not put me to his voicemail. She put me on hold, spoke with him, and came back and said he does not want to accept anything from me unless it's in writing. He doesn't even want to talk to me. Because in the 67 questions I asked, that I faxed to him, which people have seen the fax on the internet, was there. I asked for the QSIP number and the bid bond.
Correct.
So the thing is, I also asked who's the real party in interest and who's the real party of interest in this matter. Because the complainant is my uncle, but I have power of attorney, so therefore it's a fraudulent claim by my uncle.
Yeah, they can't say anything.
No, so therefore if they can't say anything, their silence is tacit consent and agreement that what I've presented is correct.
Correct.
Right? So this is the problem that we're having right now, because even the remand center, they faxed me here. Because I told them I have some documents I need notarized for court. And guess what happened? They turned around and said, you gotta speak with your lawyer for that. And I started laughing because they have what's called legal aid, but legal aid won't come. They already know that on the real deal, this is a jurisdictional issue, so they don't have jurisdiction, so it has to go to The Hague. It has to go to the Netherlands.
Correct.
This is not a domestic issue. This is an international issue, right? And people out there